Ah, the modern internet. A beautiful landscape of information, connection, and the distinct feeling that you are shouting into a digital landfill. I've done some psychological spelunking into the mind of the online troll, and for the most part, it's not a monster under the bridge. It's some guy in his mom's basement, aka the Fap Cave, uh, taking a break from some hypersexualized MMORPG, which is the only place they really get any kind of feeling of accomplishment, just to sprinkle a little bit of misery out there in the world by making a stranger question their life choices. There's a slew of personality traits associated with online bullying: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and the big one, sadism. They actually get a little frisson of pleasure from causing distress. Back in my day, bullies had to do their work face to face, and now it's an anonymous profile picture of maybe a vaguely threatening cartoon dog and their apparently sincere belief that you making a video about your favorite movie is proof of society's imminent collapse. It's probably not. I wouldn't take it too seriously. It's not about the movie or anything else you might be discussing. It's about your reaction, even if it is only imagined. They're emotional alchemists. They take your sincere, heartfelt belief in, whatever, and they transmute it into pure, glorious rage. And that is power. It's the only time they feel any real power about anything. They briefly become the puppet master of your cardiovascular system, and that is a rush. It's also a sign of possible psychopathy. In the past, I've done some research online about bullies, and they are often miserable people. Among the reasons the internet has unleashed so many bullies and probably made bullies out of people who otherwise wouldn't have become bullies is something called the DAD framework, which stands for Disembodied, Anonymous, and Disinhibited. All three of those factors reduce any potential accountability for their actions. Back in the day, I would have to admit, I flirted with techno-utopianism. I'm not proud of it, and boy, was I wrong. I hadn't yet fully grappled with not only how dysfunctional my own upbringing was, but much less the kinds of things that were happening to other people. Frequently, online bullies have been exposed to excessively authoritarian parenting and even violence. They can struggle socially with few lasting friendships, and they've probably been subjected to a fair amount of bullying and peer victimization themselves. Their internal monologue, when they allow themselves to have one at all, is filled with the criticism that has been levied on them since probably before they were old enough to talk. A key source of relief from that is, rather than work on their baseline emotional state or pay attention to beautiful and meaningful things, they focus on those things they see in other people, which are somehow worse than what they've done. At least from their perception, it's worse and therefore worthy of stark condemnation. There's an extent to which they actually think of themselves as the good guys. Not only are they proud of their trolling, it's one of the few things they are capable of taking any pride in. It's kind of a miserable life when you think about it. Few of these people would ever dare to try and be creative themselves because, for one, they are not creative people. Truly creative people don't go around constantly insulting other creative people's efforts because they have too much respect, both for how difficult it is, but for how vulnerable it makes you to present those efforts. Indeed, one of the primary emotions driving trolls is not disgust or derision. It is jealousy. They are envious, not only of your generative capacity to create something where before there was nothing, they also know deep in their hearts that you have more courage in your little finger than they have ever expressed in their entire lives. You are perfectly innocent, even altruistic impulse to create something that might be enjoyable to someone else and that you enjoyed making. To them, it feels like an implied judgment on their inability to frame anything in terms of beauty or meaning, much less create something from whole cloth. Their cowardice is clearly evidenced by the fact that they tend to pick on people they perceive as being the most vulnerable. I haven't studied this quantitatively, but I would be surprised if big YouTube channels get trolled as often as small ones do. Absolutely the last thing a bully or a troll wants is anything like a fair fight. I'm going to leave it up to you to decide the degree to which you want to engage such people. For the most part, I got lots of other stuff to do. But here's where it gets weird. Because we aren't even always talking about people. The dead internet theory is the idea that since about 2016, the internet has mostly been taken over by bots. That's all those people you're arguing with are not human trolls. They're code. It changes everything. If a troll is a real person, they're a pathetic sadist. If a troll is a bot, it's a successful bot. By some estimates, about 65% of the bots online are malicious in nature. They're spreading disinformation, they're running scams, or for whatever disgusting reason, they have been brought into existence by a technically proficient but socially maladaptive bad actor who just wants to spread as much misery as possible at scale. So, if I get a truly trolling comment from a quintessential human troll fueled by Mountain Dew and existential dread, I am probably just going to remove it, especially given that it probably wasn't a human. One of my last videos did generate some criticism, and I tried to respond to it as best I could. The people who got my replies or others who read the exchanges can judge for themselves if I did so fairly or not. But what seemed strange to me was that several of the negative comments gave no indication that they had watched the video at all. They basically just summarized and repeated someone else's negative comment. It seems to me, since there's a better than even chance that they're bots to begin with, those are very likely troll bots. And there's no particular reason to treat them as anything else. Maybe the real troll is the fact that we were so willing to be so mean to each other in the first place that we've made it easy for the robots to take over and be even meaner. So I'm done. No more fighting the trolls. If they're bots, they're just doing their job. If they're people, they need a hug, probably your girlfriend. I will do my best to engage with critiques. Critics, which are different, I just don't have time for. It is true enough that engaging with your critics can be morally praiseworthy, but it is not morally obligatory. This channel isn't for everybody. I knew that when I started it. So for the folks who feel welcome here and stimulated by the conversations I am hoping to foster, I am sincerely so glad to know you. I am thrilled that you're here. For everybody else just passing through, hey, thanks for stopping by. Absolutely. But if this channel is part of your daily mayhem and cruelty crusade, I am not the one with a problem. Thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate it. If you're not a troll, leave a comment down below. Troll comments are welcome anyway. They count as engagement. Like, subscribe. I got more of these coming. Thank you so much for watching, and please